Hey, it's me, the N to the J to the baby. I am here getting ready for an audition. Usually when you see me like this, I'm laying this hair flat. It was all, I had it in my little curly fro yesterday, and so now I got to get it flat. So I sprayed it. You know how it goes. I ain't got to tell you how it goes. I am auditioning to be I almost said a serial killer, a security guard. I look like a serial killer right about now, don't I? A security guard. So it's just going to be a light beat. But after I filmed yesterday and I had a chance to do some more thinking, I realized I wanted to come back and talk to you all. You know, because we've talked about it, I've basically been trying to figure out what is next for me. And it's been messy. I know, sometimes we know what we don't want to do, and that's where I am. It's like, okay, what I'm doing right now isn't sustainable in this way. There are parts of it that I love, and there are parts of it that I'm way over, and I don't care, and I don't want to do them. And figuring out how to separate those parts and do more of what I love and less of the stuff that is draining me. Here, I'm going to do this too. So I'm a little dark here. I'm going to do that. This makes me look like I have a mustache. I swear I don't. I'm just dark here. I don't know what that's about. I've been using a retinoid here, and I'm reluctant to use one of those lightening creams. One time I had a blemish on my face, and when it went away, I had a really dark spot, and I'm well aware that I just went on a totally different tangent, but roll with me. And I went to a dermatologist. Black woman, was supposed to be like one of the standouts in her field for brown skin. And she gave me 2% hydroquinone, which is a skin bleach. And I said, is this going to bleach my skin? And she said, oh no, it'll just get rid of that dark spot. And I was like, okay. And so I just put it right where the dark spot was twice a day. And then I went to work. This is when I was still working production. And the guy I worked for one day walked in and he said, are you bleaching your skin? And I was like, you can see that, like, because I could tell it was looking kind of sketchy, but I didn't know it was that noticeable. I was like, okay. I stopped using it that day, and eventually it faded. But I had a light splotch on one side of my face. I don't even know how I got on that topic of conversation. Anyway, back on the original train of thought. Sometimes you don't know what you want to do, but you know what you don't want to do. So yesterday, being on set yesterday, I had that same feeling that I always get. I get it when I'm on set. I get it also when I'm in a theater. I love it. I love it. When I first started doing theater, I was like, this feels like, the feeling that some people get when they're in church, where they're just like, I just love being in the house of the Lord. I just love being here. Well, theater isn't necessarily the house of the Lord, but I feel that there are certain things that I can call sacred work, and I feel like acting can be one of them if used in the right way. If it's used to add something good into the world, something that people need, something that fills people up rather than draining them, making them tired, making them worry about this and that. I call any of that, anything that supports human beings, sacred work. And that's the similarity for me. It took me a long time to figure that out, but I get the same feeling when I'm on set. And so yesterday, being on set, hearing the actors say words that were once just, they didn't exist, and then they came out of my head, out of my imagination, and I put them on paper, and now actors are saying them and people are filming them. It's like, this is something real now. You know, once it's all shot and it's edited, you'll get to see it. Totally free. You won't have to subscribe to anything, which is a good thing. Also, talking to the people on set, the cast, the crew, and the things that they were saying about the script. The black actors, okay, because it's about a black family. The whole cast isn't black, but the core is, because it's a black family. They were just like, thank you for writing this. It's a joy to work on a show where the family is like normal, you know, like a normal family. There ain't nobody on crack. They not fussing and fighting. They not, you know, there's not all this dysfunction going on. Yes, the mom is sick. She's got chronic kidney disease and she needs a transplant. The whole point of the show is to reach the black community and educate about chronic kidney disease and transplantation, kidney transplantation, while entertaining, you know, because if you just write, I mean, nobody wants to watch a show. If I say, yes, a show about a woman who gets sick and needs a transplant, don't nobody want to watch that show. I don't even want to write that show, but there's a lot of humor. There's a lot of love in this family. I'm trying to be mindful of how much I can say, but I will say I'm grateful that the director asked me to write this. I was like, wow, thank you for having faith that I could write it. He's like, I know you can do this, but thank you for having faith in me. And I, for a long time, was the only black person writing about this experience of other black people. So I was the expert, you know, but there were some situations where somebody would say, I think it should be this way, you know, and if it was an opinion that I was okay with putting my name on, you know, because I'm not just going to co-sign some nonsense, then I would go, okay, well, I'll make that change, you know, and then I would make it in a way that worked for the script and worked for the family. But there were a few times when somebody suggested something and I was like, yeah, no. And I had to be very respectful about the whole thing, you know, which is good anyway. You don't want to just start swinging and cussing folks out. I would say I'm going on record as saying that I don't agree and this is why. And usually it was like, okay, all right, you are the expert on, you know, on black people, which as much as anybody can be. I mean, we're not all the same, but I know black culture better than they do. There were a few situations like that, and a few times I got pretty frustrated, you know, like, why are you asking me to make this change? Like, this doesn't even fit. It was a learning experience, and it's one that I'm glad that I was able to have because it clarified a lot of things for me. I've been writing for a long time. I love to write. It comes more naturally to me than acting. I had to work very hard to become a good actress, whereas I've always been able to write. And one of the things that I learned is that I like writing what I want to write. And that's not saying that, you know, oh, I got the big head. I don't need any input from anybody. You know, I'll just write what I want to write. And if you don't like it, then whatever. No, I can always learn. I'm always opening to learn. I'm always willing to talk to and take advice from people who know what they're doing, you know? Hey, what do you think of this? And then, okay, they give me their opinion. All right, do I see what they're talking about? Do I agree with it? How do I change it to fit? Or do I say, okay, thank you for your opinion, and I'm like, you know, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. When you are writing for someone else, just like, you know, when you work in any job for someone else, you don't have the liberty of doing that. So the person who is in charge of the money is in charge of the narrative. I came to Hollywood not because I wanted to get rich or be famous. I came to Hollywood because I wanted to tell stories, okay? It's easy to forget that part. You know, in making a living and making a life for yourself, it's very easy to forget the why. But the why is always important. The why is the motivation. I'm pointing at y'all, I'm sorry. The why is the motivation. It keeps you going when you're tired. And if you lose the why, it's like, well, why am I doing this? Artists, we burn passion for fuel, you know, like cars run on gas. artists run on passion, and I don't feel passionate about what I'm currently doing. And this is just coming to me as a result of being on set, because I have no control. You know, again, as I've said before, I have no control over my schedule. Which is a big thing. And I have no control, and if I'm not writing and the money person in control of the purse on a show, I have no say so about characters and what they're doing, who gets cast, where the story's going, is this appropriate for this character or for this family or whatever. I have little to no input, and I don't like that. So it is very clear to me today, this March 17th, St. Patrick's Day 2022, that yes, I want to and need to move forward with building my writing career. I think it's very necessary. Hang on, I want to make sure that's not an audition. Yes, it is an audition. Okay. So I have 3 auditions now today. This is what happens. It's like, okay, I got another audition. The why for me is telling stories. It always has been. I forgot that at a certain point, and now that I remember, hopefully it'll become easier to, I can't find one of my pencils. Hopefully it'll become easier for me to come up with a plan of action. The why is telling stories of people whose stories very often go unheard, you know, in a way that honors their humanity. Like if I decide, and this is just an example, I don't have a story in my head about this. If I decide I want to write a story about somebody who's hooked on drugs, it can't be what we've seen before, you know, crack addicts scratching, and, you know, and then people are like, hey, look at that crack addict, you know, like do it. That is a human being. That's a person. Everybody has a story that goes beyond the surface. How did this person get this way? How can I present this story in a way that honors their humanity, because they're human just like I am, and there, but for the grace of God, go I. So that's what I want to put out into the world. I am so happy to have had this experience, the good, the challenging, all of it, because I've learned so much. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to go to set yesterday and to just sit and see, you know, wow, I wrote this, but it's a collaborative effort because everybody on set is necessary. You need the directors. There are 2 directors on this project. You need the directors. You know, you need everybody on the crew. There's a kitchen scene where the kitchen's a mess. It is the messiest kitchen you've probably ever seen in your life. I hope you've ever seen in your life. And everything that's in there in the kitchen is there because it needs to be. And somebody had to do that. Every job is important on a set. The actors, you know, are the most visible, clearly. And the fact that they love their characters, the characters resonate with them. Having one of the directors tell me, you know what, there were some things that I didn't see in the script until I started watching auditions. And these actors, you know, brought so many layers. He said, there's so many layers to your writing, which makes me feel good because I was trying to do that, and I just felt like, well, maybe I'm not effective. Well, no, it depends on your audience. It depends on who's reading you, and not everybody is going to get you. But when these Black actors and actresses, Black American actors and actresses started auditioning, they got it. And I watched some of the auditions, and one of them I was like, oh my God, like she just broke my heart watching her. And It was like I didn't even write it. And I love to feel that. So I need to do more writing. I know that. I need to be on set more. I love that part. And I need to put good things out into the world. Now, now that I know what the reinvention of my life looks like, I need to get as specific as possible. I need to write my mission statement, which is the why, and make it clear somewhere I can look at it all the time. And then I need to write all the specific goals that'll get me there. And anything that doesn't fit within those goals, this is going to be the hardest part, I think, because it's making a transition from where I am now to where I'm trying to go. I got to figure out what to let go of, but I can't let go of everything because this is my primary source of income. You know, acting is my primary source of income, and I get acting jobs by auditioning, by being ready when somebody says, hey, you got an audition, turn it in. I will tell you more as I discover more, but this was a huge discovery for me, and I feel better now. I'm glad I was there yesterday. This is a story that has the potential to save lives. Black Americans have the highest rates of chronic kidney disease. High blood pressure and diabetes has always run rampant in my family. It runs rampant through our communities. I just really wanted to do right by Black people because I feel like so often some of the things that I see, the ways that I see us being portrayed are not three-dimensional. We don't get to be full human beings. We can't ever be normal and just be happy. You know, black girl magic, black boy joy. We can't have that. It's got to be some kind of nonsense going on, you know? And I didn't want that. And I didn't want my name on anything like that. And I feel good about what I was able to achieve with this. Now it's out of my hands. What I saw yesterday, I feel good about it. There are a couple of components where I'm like, please do this part right, please, you know, but I gotta let it go because it's not mine, you know. I wrote it, but it was a work for hire. Basically, I was a hired ink pen. It doesn't belong to me. So we're gonna see how it turns out. But if all of it, all the work, all the discussions, all the protectiveness, the back and forth, if all of that was just to get me to the point where I'm like, yes, I need to create good things, realistic things, you know, because it ain't always sunshine and roses, but it ain't always trauma and drama either, you know. I want to put some good things out in the world for people who need to be represented. It may not always be Black people. It may not. I don't know. But any character that I write, any story that I write, I want it to be honest, and I don't want it to be a caricature. You know, I don't want anybody to be able to just point and laugh at that character. Yeah. They got to have some humanity. So if everything that I've gone through, I don't want to make it sound like it was a horrible experience. It really wasn't. It wasn't a horrible experience. It was a challenge at times, and it was a learning experience. And I'm okay with it being a learning experience if it was all to get me to this point and this realization. So I hope that made sense. I'm gonna shut up now and stop talking your ear off, and I'm gonna put my face on, finish putting my face on, and I am going to knock out these 3 auditions, and then what am I gonna do? Then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna start to plan. I'm gonna start to map out what my next steps are. But now I've said it, I put it out in public. Y'all gonna be watching. Pray for me, please. Pray for me as I move forward. But I believe, I've always believed that my purpose in life is to make other people's lives better in any way that I'm able to. You know, some ways I'm not able to. Somebody asks you for something and you're just like, I can't do that. you know, because I just can't. I either don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy to do it, I don't have the knowledge to do it, you know, the skill. But as much as I'm able, I do try to make people's lives better, a little easier. And I think this is a natural outgrowth of that. So, hey, watch me. Watch me as I figure this out, and pray for me as I figure this out. And I will see you again real soon. I have to tell you, regarding the no spend challenge, it feels like it's becoming a habit now. It feels like it's becoming a part of my life. I'm ready. As soon as I have more time, I'm ready to clean out my closet and clean out my kitchen cabinets and get rid of a lot of extraneous stuff that's there that I don't use. Some of it I don't even like. I don't want it. Get rid of it. I will film that when I do those things. I just need like a huge chunk of time and energy at the same time, and I haven't had that. I did go get dinner last night. I ain't said nothing to Google. A friend of mine was in the area getting her hair done, and she bought a new Benz. so she was like, hey, you know, I'll pick you up. Let's roll. So, okay, let's roll. So we rolled and went out and had dinner, and that was my meal for the week that I get to have that's not at home, like groceries. And I'm good with that. Like, you know, we'll see what it is next week. I am grocery shopping with better sense now. I know I have to have foods that I can readily, you know, that I can grab when I'm in between, you know, auditions or running out the door or whatever. Something that I can grab so that I'm not jittery later. I'm working it out. This has been good for me. Has it been good for you? Is it becoming a habit in your life? Are you feeling a craving or a pull from I always use Amazon because Amazon got a whole bunch of us hooked. How do you feel right now? Is it becoming a habit? I really want to know that, or if you're still struggling. And I have some thoughts. I don't want to make this video too long. Yeah, it's already too long. So I'm gonna let you go, and we'll talk about it in the next video. All right? I'm gone for real now, but I can't forget to show you my audition look. Bye.